Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here with another update video. This is for the week of December 17th to the 23rd. Here we'll be talking about new releases on the PC this week as well as my planned content coverage here on the channel. Let us begin with new releases. On Monday we saw the very controversial launch of the War Z, what was known as the Foundation launch, the game coming to Steam in essentially an unfinished form. The problem that occurred here, if you happen to miss all the drama, is that this game launched with a ton of listed key features. So people looked at that list of key features and said, okay, this is what's in the game, that's exciting, let me buy it. They bought the game, they opened it up, started playing, and a majority of the features listed weren't there. So the issue was that they didn't actually say that these are upcoming features. Now this has since been changed, but when the game first launched, this was the problem. People bought the game expecting one thing, they basically got an unfinished product, they weren't told they were getting an unfinished product, and the fiasco ensued. Now I've covered this, plenty of other YouTube people have covered this, and just gaming outlets as well. So if you're not caught up to speed, I definitely suggest looking into that. I don't want to spend the whole video talking about it. It's definitely a problem that they launched the way they did. They've been getting a lot of negative feedback as a result, and it's sort of to be expected with the way things took place. Does the game have potential? Sure. Could it eventually be something great? Absolutely. But as of now, it's unfinished and people weren't informed of that, and that's kind of a crappy situation. All right, next up, we've got Nights into Dreams, which was released yesterday. This was a 3D flying game made by the Sonic team, originally for the Sega Saturn. A version for the PC has come to Steam, so if you'd like to take a look at that, you can certainly do so. And then we've got a ton of DLC. So on Monday, we saw the DLC release for Medal of Honor Warfighters Zero Dark 30 map pack, just adding some more maps to the game and a bunch of other stuff. 2 new multiplayer maps with real-world locations and stuff like that. There was also the Spellforce 2 Flink's Secret Diary. No idea. I played Spellforce 2. I covered it in a video. I thought it was terrible, so highly unlikely that I'll be taking a look at that. On Tuesday, we saw the Steam launch of Dragon Nest. Now, this is a game that I believe was prior launched or in the beta. I've definitely played it in the past, quite some time ago. I think it might have been over a year ago. But because it's just come to Steam, it might be a good time to revisit this title, so I think I'll be giving that a look. On Tuesday, we saw the release of Battlefield 3's Aftermath DLC, which is going to include 4 new maps, a new scavenger game mode, a bunch of new vehicles, new assignments, achievements, and dog tags. Need for Speed Most Wanted got some DLC as well in the Ultimate Speed Pack, adding 4 new vehicles to the game. And then Rage got DLC. I covered this in the Force feed yesterday, the Scorchers DLC, which adds a new bandit clan and the ability to replay the game. Also, a new difficulty mode was added as well. So that's interesting. I mean, it's quite a bit late, this game. This game came out over a year ago. It was the October 2011, I believe. I was surprised it took them so long to get this DLC out. It's good they eventually did it, though, and anyone who still is playing Rage or looks to go back to Rage, I'm sure they're really happy about this. And then today, on Wednesday, the War of the Roses DLC, Winter Has Arrived, is coming out, adding a couple of winter-themed maps. That will be exciting as well. So those are the new PC releases for this week. Now, I already took a look at the War Z, and beyond that, I think I'll look at Dragon's Nest, and that's probably about it. I actually don't know that I'm going to get the time or really care to look at any of that DLC. Medal of Honor Warfighter I thought was okay, not the greatest game, but I don't know that I'm going to get that. And I actually never ended up buying Battlefield 3, believe it or not. And yeah, so really not much for me to take a look at this week. I'll be covering the War Z, I'll be covering Dragon's Nest most likely, potentially War of the Roses. But beyond that, let's talk about what we do have planned for this week. Continued Elder Scrolls Online coverage. People have been enjoying it. My viewership seems to like coverage of that game, so I will keep that up. And I'm really excited for it too. Is this going to be another crazy hype situation like Diablo 3 was? I don't know. It depends on how excited I get and how much coverage I feel like doing. I do this because it's my job and I do this to keep you guys entertained, but I also like to have fun as well, and covering things that I'm excited about definitely allows me to do that. So Elder Scrolls Online looks to be potentially one of those games. Also, now that we're coming up to the end of 2012, you should expect some sort of a Game of the Year or like a top 5 or top 10 list. Pretty much any gaming publication or anyone who covers a multitude of games does this, and I will likely be joining up with that, giving you guys my opinion on my favorite games of this year. Dark Fall Beta, I talked about this in the last week update video. So it was supposed to come out last week, and then it was pushed into a beta, but the beta has an NDA, so I can't cover this game, at least not in video form, until an NDA is lifted. So Darkfall and Holy Wars is what I'm talking about. Once that game has its NDA removed, I'll definitely look at it. Until then, really not too much I can do. I've also been increasing the frequency of Smite videos, which, again, is something that people really seem to enjoy on the channel, so I think we're going to keep that up. There's a huge Smite patch coming out with tons of changes. There's supposed to be a new god coming, complete changes to the maps and the lanes, as well as almost like 90% of the items are supposed to be getting adjusted as well. So that's pretty big. I'll likely be doing that. And for upcoming content that I've got in the works, podcast. Yes, a podcast is happening, a podcast with Jesse Cox covering the Elder Scrolls Online. We're going to look to start this up probably with the new year, so sometime in January we will begin it. Tentative plan is for once a week or potentially once every other week. We'll have to see how frequently Elder Scrolls Online news gets released. If it's on a consistent basis every week, then we could potentially do it once a week. If not, it might be every other week. But an Elder Scrolls Online podcast that is planned should be coming in January, so keep an eye out for that. And I've also thought about, really thought long and hard about this. I don't want to become a Let's Play channel, but I like the idea of running a Let's Play series. So what I had in mind was maybe once, one game every week to 2 weeks or something like that. So what that means is I'll cover a game, I do a Let's Play series throughout the course of 1 or 2 weeks until the game is finished, or I feel like a natural conclusion to the Let's Play series has occurred, and then we'll pick up another game and go from there. I think this could be a lot of fun. I really enjoyed when I did do Let's Play type content, and it's something that I am considering revisiting, so let me know what you guys think about that as well. And with that, we will wrap up this update video for the week of December 17th to the 23rd. Of course, as always, expect the normal content in the form of StarCraft 2 videos, MTG videos, and the Force feed, in addition to everything else we've talked about here. Thanks again for watching, guys. If you like the content, please subscribe, and as always, keep watching and keep owning.